We're about to dive into the game that's got everyone talking Cowboys versus Steelers. Two legendary franchises, one epic showdown. Will Doc and the boys light up the scoreboard, or will the steel curtain slam shut on America's team? I've got the inside scoop on the odds, the key matchups, and a bold prediction that might just surprise you. So whether you're looking to win your office pool or just hungry for some hard-hitting analysis, stick around. This is one video you can't afford to miss if you want to be the smartest fan at your Week 5 watch party. Let's break it down. Hey there, Cowboys Nation! Welcome to Dallas Cowboys Fan, your ultimate destination for all things America's team. Whether you bleed blue and silver or are just starting to catch Cowboys fever, this is the place. If you are a diehard fan, please make sure to subscribe for more latest news and updates of your favorite team. We're diving deep into one of the most anticipated matchups of NFL Week 5, the Dallas Cowboys squaring off against the Pittsburgh Steelers. This clash of titans is shaping up to be a real nail-biter, and I've got all the juicy details, predictions, and odds you need to know. So grab your favorite game day snacks, settle in, and let's break this down. First things first, let's talk about the storylines leading up to this epic showdown. The Cowboys are coming off a roller coaster start to the season, with their high-powered offense showing flashes of brilliance, but also moments of inconsistency. Dak Prescott has been slinging the ball with his usual flair, but there are whispers in the football world about whether he can maintain his hot streak against the Steelers' notoriously tough defense. On the other side of the field, we've got the steel curtain looking to prove they're still a force to be reckoned with. Mike Tomlin's squad has been grinding out wins with their signature smash-mouth style, but they're facing some injury concerns that could shake things up. The big question on everyone's mind is whether their defense can contain the Cowboys' explosive offensive weapons. Now, let's dive into some numbers, because you know I love my stats. The odds makers have been crunching the figures, and they're painting an interesting picture. As of now, the Cowboys are slight favorites, with the line hovering around 2.5. This tells us that Vegas is expecting a close game, but they're giving a slight edge to America's team. The over/under is set at 47.5 points, suggesting we might be in for a higher scoring affair than some might expect from a Steelers game. But here's where it gets really interesting, folks. When we look at the historical matchups between these two storied franchises, we see a pattern of unpredictability. The last time they met, it was a barn burner that came down to the wire. And let's not forget, both of these teams have a knack for showing up when the spotlight is brightest. Speaking of showing up, let's talk about some key players who could make or break this game. For the Cowboys, all eyes will be on CeeDee Lamb. The young wideout has been absolutely electric this season, leaving defenders in the dust and making highlight reel catches look easy. If he can find space against the Steelers' secondary, it could be a long day for Pittsburgh. But don't count out the Steelers' offensive weapons. Najee Harris has been a battering ram in the backfield, and if he can get going early, it'll open up the play-action game for Ben Roethlisberger. Big Ben might be in the twilight of his career, but he's still got that veteran savvy that can turn the tide in close games. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. What about the X factors? Well, I've got you covered there too. Keep an eye on the Cowboys' rookie sensation, Micah Parsons. This kid has been playing like a man possessed, flying all over the field and disrupting offenses left and right. If he can get in Roethlisberger's face early and often, it could throw a wrench in the Steelers' game plan. For Pittsburgh, their X factor might just be their special teams. Chris Boswell has been automatic from long range, and in a close game, those extra points could be the difference between victory and defeat. Plus, their return game has been sneaky good this year, and a big return could swing momentum in their favor. Let's not forget about the coaching matchup, because this one's a doozy. Mike McCarthy has been under fire lately for some questionable decision-making, but he's got a chance to silence the critics with a big win here. On the other sideline, Mike Tomlin is as steady as they come, and you know he'll have his troops ready for battle. Now, I've been hearing some chatter from you guys in the comments about the impact of home field advantage in this one. The Cowboys playing at a T&T stadium is always a spectacle, and that crowd noise can be a real game changer. But here's the thing, the Steelers are one of those teams that seem to thrive as road underdogs. They've got that us against the world mentality that can be dangerous in hostile territory. As we get closer to kickoff, there are a few key matchups I'll be watching closely. The battle in the trenches is going to be crucial. The Cowboys' offensive line has been banged up, and they'll have their hands full with J. Watt and company. If Dallas can't protect Prescott, it could be a long day for the boys in blue. On the flip side, the Steelers' offensive line has been a work in progress this season. They'll need to step up their game against a Dallas pass rush that's been hitting its stride in recent weeks. If they can give Roethlisberger time in the pocket, he's got the weapons to pick apart the Cowboys' secondary. Speaking of secondaries, this game could very well come down to which defensive backfield can make the big plays when it matters most. Trayvon Diggs has been a turnover machine for Dallas, but he'll be tested by the likes of Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson. For the Steelers, Minkah Fitzpatrick is always a threat to change the game with a timely interception. Now, I know you're all waiting for my prediction, and trust me, this one wasn't easy to call. Both teams have shown flashes of greatness this season, but they've also had their fair share of head-scratching moments. After crunching the numbers, watching the film, and considering all the factors, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I think the Cowboys pull this one out in a nail-biter. The final score? I'm calling it 27-24 Dallas. Here's why. I believe the Cowboys' offensive firepower will be too much for the Steelers to contain for 4 full quarters. Prescott will make just enough plays in the clutch, and the home crowd will push them over the edge in the final minutes. But don't get it twisted, this game could easily go either way. The Steelers have a knack for winning ugly, and if they can control the clock with their run game and force a couple of turnovers, they could very well walk out of Jerry World with a W. For those of you looking to put a little action on the game, I'd be cautious about laying the points with Dallas. This one has the feel of a game that could come down to the last possession, so taking the Steelers and the points might not be a bad play. As for the total, I'm leaning towards the over. Both of these offenses have the potential to explode, and in a game with this much on the line, I expect both teams to empty the playbook. Before we wrap up, I want to give a quick shout out to all of you who've been riding with the channel this season. Your comments and predictions have been spot on, and I love the debates we get into every week. Keep that energy coming, because it's what makes this community so special. All right, folks, that's my breakdown of the Cowboys-Steelers showdown. What do you think? Am I on the money, or am I way off base? Drop your